It's sad. I like him better like this, honestly. I trust no one. Okay, yeah, this is Sami's episode. I love you now. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben, and today I'll be reacting to The Legend of Korra Season 1, Episode 7. Now, the last episode was absolutely insane in just how it dealt with the pro-bending storyline and Aang declaring full-out war on Republic City. I love how much it did with him and just... he doesn't feel like an evil person at the minute, which is shocking to me. He's such a good and well-done villain so far, and I cannot wait to see where it eventually goes with him, because he is the person that Korra is meant to defeat, and I'm just not sure if that's the right decision at the minute. Every person that he has taken the bending away from, he's used it as a demonstration, and that person has always been kind of evil. Yes, it's a horrific thing, but technically, it's similar to when Aang took Ozai's bending away. He was abusing it and using it for evil. These people that he's taken away from are using it for evil. You had the gang leaders and all the criminals that their bending was taken away. Now you had the pro-benders who are cheating their way through it. He's used, that's definitely like the iffiest one, because then what kind of harm were they really doing apart from the people that they were fighting against? That was within a tournament and it wasn't that big of a thing that affected so many lives. But still, it puts Aang in a spot where you can really understand where he's coming from. Yeah, with the pro-bending thing, I guess, sorted now, definitely curious to see what Mako and Bolin's role will be in the season, because their whole thing was the pro-bending. That's done. So going forward, I'm so curious as to what they're going to be doing. Are they going to be more with Korra and the Avatar thing? Are they just going to give up their life of wanting this championship to go with Korra, maybe join the task force, do something like that, and actually form a little gang there, like the Avatar gang? Or will they find something completely different to do that keeps them separate from the more Avatar issues as well? Now, this is over halfway through the season, so I'm really hoping for Korra's development to start kicking in at the minute. We've got on building blocks and foundations, we've got on the whole spiritual stuff that she needs to work on, how the White Lotus kept doing the physical training but never focused on where she would fit into society, and her spiritual stuff with airbending and all of this. That's what she needs to work on, plus she has the fear of Aang. So all these things, great that she needs to work on. I just want that to start. I want boxes to be ticked now. I want her to start getting more confident, to get the fear of Aang sort of... I want to see improvements there. Because going into this new war and this new political idea that Aang has started, it doesn't feel like Korra's ready at all, and now would be the time to get her into a more comfortable position with everything that has just exploded. And of course, I loved Lin in the last episode. I love that we finally got more on her, knowing that she was once Tenzin's a lover, and now that is why she's kind of miserable at the minute. And also her fight scenes were insane. I hope that she sticks around and we get more on her now. I want her to be as much of a main character as Tenzin is. But yeah, as always, if you do enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel to grow. And if you do enjoy my content and you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon, the link will be in the description. Over there I'm uploading these videos and the full reaction a week in advance. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. With that said, let's just dive on in.
I still can't believe they're shutting this place down.
Yeah, we had some good memories here, didn't we?
So yeah, where do you guys go then?
I talked to Tenzin and made all the arrangements.
At Bender
You can
Island?
come live on Air Temple Island.
Amazing.
We'd love to, but
They don't want to.
Asami already invited us to live in Urtahan's giant mansion.
Okay, that is a good option.
It's gonna be the lap of luxury for us.
So it's cool that like Asami and her dad is fine with, kind of just likes them. Aside from them with the core competition, the sponsor thing is done. So yay.
Come on, Korra. We all deserve a little rest and relaxation after all this craziness.
Lovely. Go to the estate. I want to see what it looks like. What does like luxury look like in this city? And yep, here's the wall. Good. Yep, get it going. Ah, this police. Okay, so they've got a battering ram. Okay, awesome.
Looks like our intel was good.
There's enough evidence here to bury Cabbage Corp for an eternity.
Cabbage Corp? No, Cabbage Man. Okay, but things are going well for them then. That is a good sign.
Is it true that Cabbage Corp is conspiring with the Equalists?
The evidence points in that direction, but the investigation is ongoing.
Good answers, very good.
No, not my cabbage, Korra.
Okay, this is definitely the Cabbage Man, isn't it?
Hey, Korra.
Tano?
Ooh, actually seeing you again. And you look, honestly, he looks better now that he's not like an idiot.
I've been to the best healers in the city. Whatever Aang did to me, it's permanent.
Yeah, that is bad. I feel bad. This did a great job making him feel bad.
I'm happy to help any way I can. I want these Equalists to pay for what they've done.
Okay, I'm liking you more now. It's not just sponsor money, you have a good morality about you.
See you around, Avatar.
It's sad. I like him better like this, honestly. He's not all overconfident and just annoying. Without his bending, he seems like he might be a better person. Yes, he's sad and depressed, which obviously not a good thing. But honestly, I like him more here.
Earth-bending bomb!
And yep, this place is absolutely beautiful.
Someone forgot to ask her father if we could stay here.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Interesting. Still not sure what would I prefer. Did they go into Airbender Island or this? I mean, I know Airbender Island now, so it feels like that I want that more.
Now pat me dry.
As you wish.
Oh dear, no. Yeah, this is going to his head. Oh, this poor man.
What do you have planned for us today? Shopping?
Ooh, iPhone makeovers.
Oh dear, yep, join each other.
I have something a little more exciting in mind.
Racing? Is this... they're still in the estate. I can't... if they're rich enough, yes, they probably have their own race course.
The only thing I know how to drive is a polar bear dog.
You want me to take you for a spin?
Let's do it.
Going to drive, cool. Is this episode 2 basically put Asami with the group? I feel like that's what it's doing. She's basically just been Mako's girlfriend at this point. Now she's doing stuff with Korra. Seems like it's getting her more in line with the group. We've only got... Yeah, this does not involve Korra with the whole Amand War thing. This is very separate. Eh. Oh, and lost him. Great. Yay. This feels very dangerous. They have very little protection and they're so exposed like this.
I thought you were kind of prissy.
People usually assume that I'm daddy's helpless little girl, but I can handle myself.
Yeah, this is getting her in line with the group. What's building? What is this? Oh no.
No, I assure you, everything is going exactly as planned.
Eavesdropping on the big boss man?
Luckily, the Cabbage Corp investigation has bought us enough time.
Hmm?
By the end of the week, we'll be ready to strike.
What? No, don't be bad. No. She could have gotten there. She got very little information there. I'm gonna be optimistic.
Forgot, I'm supposed to babysit the airbender kids.
Okay. Is that out of fear that she's leaving, or is she going to go tell someone?
So you think Mr. Sato manufactured those gloves for the Equalists, then framed Cabbage Corp?
Oh, that would be kind of interesting. The manufacturer of all the cars making all this equipment.
But I know what I heard. Sato's up to something.
He said something about strike. What does it mean?
The Agni Kai triad robbed Sato's mansion. Firebender killed Sato's wife during the break-in.
Oh, okay, so that's tying in everything with Asami as well.
Harboring anti-bending sentiment all this time.
Maybe we should look at Mr. Sato a little more closely.
Could be. Oh, why does she have to be here? Why can't she leave? This looks bad. Oh, no.
I think your father might be involved with the Equalists.
What? I don't believe this.
Yeah, no, that was a bad idea. There were so many better ways to put it.
Just because we're not benders doesn't mean we support those awful equalists.
I can assure you, I have nothing to do with those radicals.
Please explain the conversation that you had on the phone.
This is all just a misunderstanding.
I want it to be nothing, but it's probably not going to be nothing.
It's providing me an opportunity to strike the market with a new line of Satomobile.
Okay, weird.
If you feel it's necessary, you're welcome to search all of Future Industries.
Okay, he's extremely open. Either that means he's got nothing to hide, or he knows they're not going to find anything and he's hidden stuff elsewhere. I trust no one.
Or did Hiroshi Sato frame his longtime rival, Lao Ganla?
That's already hit the news?
The investigation has yielded no evidence to incriminate Sato.
It's all Korra's fault if it means nothing, and she's just wasted a bunch of time.
I don't care how cooperative Hiroshi is being. I know he's lying.
Why are you doing this? Are you that jealous of me and Asami?
It feels like that's where it's stemming from.
If you don't drop this, consider our friendship over.
Hiroshi is not the man you think he is.
You have barely any information to go on. You heard something which she explained rather well. But she's going to end up being right. There's a shifty dude. Oh, read the note. What's in the note?
If you want to find the truth, meet me under the north end of the Silk Road Bridge at midnight.
Okay, there's something. I feel like everything's a trap. I trust nothing right now. There's going to be a trap?
Psst. Over here.
Okay, no, it's actually a person.
I thought he could make life better for us non-benders, but I didn't sign up for this war.
What do you have on Hiroshi Sato?
Okay, so something actually is happening.
Actually, those gloves for the Equalists.
I knew.
Great, so he did do it.
There are rumors he's working on something even bigger. Some new kind of weapon.
Why?
Found nothing.
That's because he has a secret factory.
Great, of course.
It's right underneath the Sato mansion.
How'd you get to that then?
If we're wrong,
I know. I can kiss my job goodbye.
Oh, this would be quite good. Well, if the guy is just setting them up. Oh, I trust nothing. I can trust nothing. So you're saying that there's a giant factory underneath his house. Interesting, but if you're wrong, you just raided an innocent guy's house with barely any evidence, only to find absolutely nothing.
What are you doing here?
We have reason to believe there's a factory hidden below the mansion.
You don't really have reason, you have no evidence. You really have to hope this one guy's word is true.
where is your father?
In his workshop.
It always looks harmless.
Dad? Hello?
But your dad's not here.
Perhaps we just couldn't see him leaving.
Ooh. Yes! Tough power! Okay, so you learn it too. You learn it from your mum.
There's a tunnel beneath the workshop, running deep into the mountainside.
There is something great. Ha! Okay, so they found something then. That's quite okay. So I'm trying to... I feel like maybe... Is Aman like planning something? Is Aman doing this? I can't tell.
Maybe you don't know everything about your father. I'm sorry.
Officers, into the tunnel.
I'm very paranoid right now. Aman is basically a mastermind with what he did with the pro-bending thing. And I cannot be sure if this is not part of his plan or not. And yep, divide between you and the group. Would he really not be friends with her now? Because it's proven right. What does this mean? Okay, that's pretty damning. Yeah, that's good evidence. Would you guys have cameras now? Oh, what are they?
And I'm guessing those are the new weapons.
That looks like one of those oldie time scuba suits with the giant helmets.
Hiroshi was lying, all right, but where is he?
Oh, no. What was
What
that?
was that?
We need to get down there and see what's going on.
So it's a trap. It's a trap.
You're staying put until the chief comes back.
Idiot.
We're waiting right here.
Okay, but don't blame me if I start
Just bend and just get down there.
I'm about to... What?
Crushing him. But yeah, now you can go down, try and help, and you can try and save them from whatever's happening down there.
We'll check it out.
I have to find out the truth about my father.
I understand.
She ain't gonna stay here.
To find out for you, please.
All right.
Really? You're not gonna go? Okay.
Be careful.
Oh, I kind of have this would be more Asami episode then, so she's not gonna get that more to do.
You won't be able to metal bend that wall, Chief Bayfall.
Why?
It's solid platinum.
You can't bend platinum?
My mecha tanks are platinum as well.
Not even your renowned mother could bend a metal so pure.
Really? Oh, whoa, what? What?
We're a lying, no good equalist.
You made a metal that Toph can't bend.
I think I'll fight from inside here, where my odds are a little more equal.
Oh, yeah, great. So he is fully evil.
You lured us down here.
Guilty as charged.
Who's in the other suits? So yeah, he is working with Aman, and all of this is before. So wait, is part of like Aman's big plan for his war? He wants these things now. What does Hiroshi get out of this? Is it just to avenge his dead wife, who was killed by the firebender? Ah, the glass. You can break the glass. I mean, you can bend the metal around these guys, right? You can trap them or do something. Like, you need lightning bending for this. That could fry the suits. Oh dear, these things are perfect for metal benders. At least you didn't get electrocuted. Oh, actually doing something. Try and melt the metal. Can you melt it? Wow, there's too many of them. You can't beat these guys. Awesome! Is that like a new advanced way of the air ball that Aang had? Has he developed it into like a wheel? Great. Okay, yep, they've lost. Okay, where's Mako and Bolin? So these things are horrifying. They've taken down an avatar. And everyone has been taken out. That is great.
Load everyone into the transports and deliver them to Aman.
Okay, that means you're not Aman. I had the suspicion that maybe he could have been Aman, but okay, good to know he is not.
Oh no.
And those two saved the day. Maybe they could get into one of the suits and then they could destroy everything. Can they use the suits against them? I'm surprised that the bad guys didn't just secure the most powerful people here first.
Oh, Mr. Sato. Wow. What a really swell, scary factory you have here under your giant mansion.
Nice, trying to alleviate the tension here.
Was watching my daughter traipse around with a fire-bending street rat like you.
Okay, so, yeah, oh dear. So it's kind of, oh, he's an interesting bad guy. He does really care for his daughter. And she came down. She could stop this.
I wanted to keep you out of this for as long as I could, but now that you know the truth, please, forgive me.
Yeah, don't, that's...
These benders, they took away your mother.
There you go, that's his
the love
motivation.
of my life.
Asami, what can you do here? What would you choose?
Fix it and build a perfect world together. We can help people like us everywhere. Join me, Asami.
I feel like she hasn't known Mako that long to choose him over her father. But then this whole thing is pretty bad. So she just could choose out of morality. I hope it isn't just because she likes Mako more. Out of her own morality, choose to side with Mako. Just taking the thingy. Don't think that could be cementing it. Trying it on, maybe.
I love you, Dad.
But, okay, amazing, good. Self-defense classes, yes. Okay, yeah, this is Asami's episode. I love you now. Ooh, okay. People were still there, right? People, they left part of Lynn's group, her police force. They're still stuck down there. Love you now for what you just did, turning against your father, and I choose to believe that's your own morality, not because you like Mako.
I failed as chief. First thing in the morning, I'm handing in my resignation.
Don't you dare, you found the place!
I'm gonna find my officers and take Amon down, but I'm gonna do it my way.
Independently.
Outside the law.
Okay, interesting, love that. Okay, she is a very interesting character. So grey morality then, going outside of the law.
Does your offer to live at the air temple still stand?
Of course it does.
Yeah, they can go there.
And Asami's welcome too.
Thank you so much.
After everything she's been through, she's going to need you, Mako.
Yeah, she's gonna need a lot of stuff. She's gonna, yeah. But she seems incredibly strong. Oh. Okay, yeah, she's just going to Mako for comfort. She chose out of her own morality to go against her father. Love that. Her own morality was strong enough to go against her father. That's great. Ending. Okie dokie. Right, so I did really enjoy that episode, but again, I feel like this is more world building rather than developing Korra. Her main role in this episode was to rat out Hiroshi and get the investigation going. Didn't deal with the fear, airbending, or just her being in the political sense. So again, this is dealing with more of the villains and building up the villains rather than the Avatar. She's still got plenty of episodes, so waiting for her to actually get the development she needs. But I will say they did a great job with Hiroshi and actually introducing another villain alongside Amon now. And it did do a wonderful job at just integrating Asami more into the group and actually having her be a main part of this, I guess, now. Seeing that she is connected to, she's probably got the most connection out of anyone to the villains if Hiroshi and Amon are working together. Yeah, I think this did an absolutely wonderful job with Asami, just building her character and making it more in line with the group. I love how they laid the groundwork for her character being self-defense lessons, all her ties to the villains and stuff, and just getting her away from the idea that her whole thing is about money. It doesn't feel like she is just the rich character now. She feels like just another character, one that could fit in with the group. I loved her scene at the end where she turned against her father, taking the glove, saying I love you, and then zapping him, and then just confirming her allegiance to the rest of them. It did a wonderful job of just displaying that she is the kind of person that is ideal for this world, I guess. She is a non-bender that also sees the good side of bending. She isn't against all benders just because they're benders. That is what Hiroshi is. He represents non-benders who feel powerless, who feel like their life is somehow bad because of benders, yet this guy is incredibly rich, lives in a mansion and all of this stuff. He's obviously part of the top part of society, yet somehow he views benders as the oppressor like Amon does. Yet his motivation comes from them taking his wife. It's interesting that he spreads out the blame for his wife's death to every bender, considering it was just one firebender that did it. You understand a lot from just other non-benders who are just like regular people who work in factories, who do labor, that sort of things. Their lives are obviously going to be significantly worse than benders because they can't do what benders can. They can't be part of the police force, the government, or the power station. Yet Hiroshi, he doesn't need any of that. His life is not negatively affected by the things he can't do because he's very wealthy. So that is interesting that he is now seeing the benders like this. And he's stretched out his pain from the benders to all of them, considering it's just one that did it. I do really love the characterization of Mako, Hiroshi, and Asami, because they are all quite similar, yet with their backstory, yet they've all ended up being quite different. Mako and Bolin lost their parents, and I think Mako's just in line with it because he's a firebender. Both Bolin and Mako benders, yet they don't see the negative side of bending, and they're against the equalists. Hiroshi lost his wife to a bender, and so has become one of the equalists because he hates bending in general now. Asami lost her mother to a bender, yet she is also a non-bender herself and doesn't negatively see benders. They all have that similar backstory where they lose important people to them because of a bender, yet they all ended up different. I love how each of them explore the different options there. But definitely the most interesting to me would be Hiroshi and Asami because they are the non-benders who got negatively affected by the benders, and then they have had different ways of which they have gone. Asami doesn't blame all benders for it, but Hiroshi does. So did they actually I want to know, did they actually find the person who did kill the mum? I would assume so, considering they're very wealthy. What happened to that person? Does Hiroshi not feel vindicated for whatever punishment befell that person, or did they get away? Is that maybe why he hates benders so much? Why is Asami so comfortable with not blaming everyone for it? Why did they end up so different? Then Korra. I want to say that I like her character, but right now she feels a little separated from the plot. Definitely in this episode. This was Asami, Hiroshi, and basically Mako's episode. Right now Asami actually feels the one closest to the main villain, since you have Aman, then he's working with Hiroshi, and then Hiroshi's daughter is Asami. Mako is connected to the villains because he is dating one of the villains' daughters. Korra is completely outside of society, trying to work her way into Republic City, and then on top of that, trying to deal with the situations that are in Republic City. I feel like there needs to be a lot more development with integrating her into the city and her role as the Avatar, and then get her in line with the plot. Because right now she does feel more separated from it than the rest of the characters. By the end of this, I'd hope that she does end up being as synced in with it as everyone else is. I'm just getting concerned because we're past the halfway point, things are building up, and Korra needs to build up just as fast. Yeah, then this episode did set up a lot of things as well, with Lin being basically apparently resigning from the police force, but she's still going to find her men, and she's going to get back out there and try and find Aman and take him down, but without the law. Love that idea that she's just going to become a vigilante type person. She's already incredibly powerful, so I can't wait to see how the law has been restricting her. Why has she restricted herself with the law? What can she do now that she's suddenly free from it? And then we have the escalation of the war as well, with the tank things that are made of platinum that metal benders can't even bend. So that's interesting that there is a metal that exists that metal benders can't bend, and he even said that Toph wouldn't be able to bend it. That's insane, that it was so pure that the purity of it causes its lack of bending. It's awesome how smart these villains are and what they're coming up with, like the electrocuting the metal benders that would grab onto it with their metal. So they have thought about how to take down all the benders, and it feels like that's going to be such an awful thing when those things eventually get out with whatever Aman's plan is. Also, I think it was really nice detail seeing the guy from the last episode show up again without his bending. He just seemed like a much not nicer person. He just seemed better, honestly, without his boastfulness, his overconfidence, his meanness that was all there because of what he did with his bending. Seeing him without it, it was such a stark difference, and I honestly feel like he might be better off without bending like this. Yes, he needs to get happier and find a new thing to do for his life, but he honestly seems like a nicer person without his bending. And that just makes me think of what is Aman's goal? Do I necessarily disagree with him? That side of things is very interesting. Okay, first of all, I think this episode was very good. I love what it did with Asami and just focusing on her, making her one of them, main characters from this. She's not going to be with her family anymore. She's going to be on Airbender Island. She's going to be with the main group now. So I love that she got a whole episode dedicated to her and just making me fall in love with her. I love how this episode went into just showing off how capable she is and how smart and moral she is as a person. Like the self-defense thing, that being mentioned at the start and then coming back here where she needed it the most. And then being able to use the chi blocker gauntlet thing and being able to choose her own morality and go against her father, which I think was very insane. She chose to give up her life, basically, to go with her boyfriend and I guess kind of strangers, because I don't think this is where she got to know Korra. So Korra maybe friend or just past acquaintance at this point. So she chose to give up a lot here, and I think that's very strong for her, and it was such a big action for her to do. It'll be interesting to see how she does gel with the group as a group now, because you've got Korra, Mako, Bolin, and I assume Asami, since they're all similar ages, they're going to be a one thing, and Asami's proven to be very capable fighting and combat, so I assume you can shove her in the same way Sokka was with the main Avatar group. You can have non-benders with benders fighting. But it's going to be interesting because Mako still hasn't told her about the kiss thing. She's given up a lot now, And I don't know, I'm assuming right now that she's chosen basically because she's a good person to go against her father. But I feel like some of it is probably because she knows that she'll be safe with Mako. She said many times that she feels safe with him. When he does eventually tell her that he kissed Korra or they kissed, that's going to make her think a whole lot differently. So I'm waiting for that to happen, and that's just going to be a lot for her to process, I guess. But she's given up her whole life to, I guess, go with Mako. So to know that that thing happened is going to be it's going to be fun to watch. So then Korra, I think this episode didn't do that much with her. This was definitely more Asami focused. Korra's main purpose here started off being just getting to know Asami more, and then eavesdropping on her father and commencing the whole raid and finding the big reveal. Development-wise, she didn't do much here apart from just get on with Asami. That was basically it, and just forming that relationship and dynamic. I think that is a good thing to do. I'm definitely more interested though in her other development, the fear of Aman, airbending, the spiritual stuff, her role as a political figure in Republic City. That's the things I'm definitely more focused and interested in. But this was good at just getting her on board with Asami so that Asami can join the group and they can just function better together after all the relationship drama that happened previously. Yeah, Korra also failed here again. So she failed against Aman, and now she failed against someone who isn't even Aman. So that's two big failures that she now has to face. That her power, she can't rely on it. There's new things now, tanks that she can't take down. She's going to have to learn to do something else and probably get more spiritual or airbending. I can't figure out how those two things would help her here, but she's got to be more creative, not just try punching everything to solve her issues. So I'm hoping that the next episode will build on this, that she is continuing to lose quite a bit, and now she needs to do something else. She needs to focus more on something. I want this to push her into not just fighting. I want her to try and figure out a different solution to the problem she's facing. Hiroshi, very interesting villain. Do like that we've gotten so many different types of this same origin, where someone loses someone they love to a bender and then they end up different because of it. Hiroshi and Aman, very similar, both firebenders who took the people they care about. Yeah, what's interesting is that Hiroshi is a rich person. He's like top person. So he's obviously not got a lot of issues to deal with because he's rich. Money solves a lot of problems for people. So I doubt his main issue is that he lost his wife, and that's what spurred him to do all of this. And yet he doesn't blame the individual firebender for doing it, but all benders at large. I'll be very interested to see if we'll get more information on what caused that, and for him to just go completely different to what Asami is experiencing. Because she obviously doesn't blame every bender for the death of her mother, yet Hiroshi does. I'd assume it comes from him wanting a better world for his daughter, and it comes from a good place, kind of. I'm guessing he got traumatized by whatever happened. I'd love it if we actually get to see what happened, because that could easily be why it affects him differently. Maybe Hiroshi was there when it happened. Maybe Asami didn't see it and was only told about it. What if Hiroshi actually saw his wife die, had the firebender do it, and he felt helpless to stop it and had to wait for benders to show up to take him down? That would be very traumatic, and that would explain why maybe he wants a better world for his daughter, and so wants all benders eradicated so that she doesn't have to have the same fears that he does. That would be interesting, because he's just a weird character because he is not an oppressed person. He is rich. You can't really oppress a rich person. Money can solve all of the problems that he faces. He doesn't need to want for anything. I do really like how this expands the idea of the equalists, where it's not just the non-benders who are kind of poor and they can't get into certain positions in the city who have come to Aman, but also people that are now well off in the city who have been hurt by benders and that they're coming to Aman as well. So we've got a whole bunch of people there. Now, Mako and Bolin, I was definitely hoping this episode would do more on them, considering their main plot point being the pro-bending thing is over, yet it didn't really cover that. What is their future meant to be? They just moved in with Asami's family, and that was basically it. That's what they did. Yes, they saved Korra at the end, but it doesn't tell me much about where their story is meant to go. I feel like now I get a better inkling because they're moving to Airbender Island. They're going to be with Korra all the time, so they are going to be aligned with whatever she's doing. That is what I'm assuming now. Yeah, I think that's just a side effect of this episode focusing on Asami, because she was a character that was introduced later than everyone else, so she needs a lot more focus to build up to get her in line with everyone else, so they kind of have to take a backseat. So their story points have to come later so that Asami can be built up. Yeah, definitely interested just to see how Mako and Bolin's story will go from here, and just what are they going to be doing. Pro-bending is over. That was the thing that defined them, basically. So what are they actually going to do now? Are they just going to be absorbed into Korra's world? Lin, I love her so much. So now she is going to resign from her position, but she's still going to go after Amon. I love that because it doesn't really show that she feels shamed of what she's doing. She's not resigning out of shame or because she failed. That's kind of a reason. But she's doing it so that she doesn't have to obey the law now that she's going to go after Amon. I really love that angle. She's basically going to become a vigilante and just break a lot of laws to go after this guy. I love that. It feels like what Toph would do. I know I shouldn't relate the characters to each other from like Airbender, from Last Airbender to this, but I like it because she is Toph's daughter. You're going to see the similarities there. This feels like a Toph action to take, and I like that we're just seeing that because she's felt very different to Toph. And I like that in this episode she was a bit more open or just not as prickly as she has been. So she felt nicer, I guess, or cooperative. So now that she's on better relationships with Korra, and now she's going into a very, I guess, darker territory where she's going to go break laws and do all this stuff. I just can't wait to see where she goes from this. Now, plot-wise, I think this episode, to me, I feel like I'm undecided right now. I feel like it would have been nice to save this reveal for a bit later because we've still got quite a few episodes left. I think there's 12 episodes this season, and this is episode 7. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 5 episodes left before the final. And I kind of wish that we had a bit more time with Hiroshi being the good guy, and then rather than revealing it here. Then again, I do like the reveal that they did here because it got Asami onto like the right lines. I think I just have to wait and see what Asami is like with the group before I fully decide whether or not I like this or not. I just think it might have been interesting to keep the charade up for a while rather than reveal it now after the huge Amon episode last time. I also think it is quite interesting that this was a character episode as well, dealing with Asami. Halfway through the show, Amon's declared full-out war with Republic City, and now we're kind of stepping away from that and focusing on Asami and getting her with the group. It almost feels like that should have happened earlier, and just getting her, because she was introduced rather late compared to Marco and Bolin, and now I've actually gotten the character-focused episode. I feel like they could have given her that without going into her father and all of this. She could have been with the Benders, helping them doing stuff before the war thing, because now it feels like it feels a little smaller compared to the large things that are going on. I think that is fine in itself, but it feels out of place, if you know what I mean. It still feels like we're in the foundation laying phase of this season when that should have been first half. It's still fine to do some, I guess, afterwards, but at this point you want to go into everything that's happening, especially after the last episode, where the stakes got raised so much, where Amon is declaring war on the city and then the world, and it really dealt with a lot of things, dealing with the probe-ending thing. That I felt like was the significant cutoff point for a few things, like the development, the easy start into this, and then it was going to explode. Asami's episode is a build-up episode. It did couple well with the big reveal of Hiroshi, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens with the rest of the season and how well it deals with Asami. If she becomes like a great character, more than she is at the good point here, then I'll be happy. But I feel like we don't have enough episodes left to deal with the huge amount of plot that we have, Amon, the villains, Hiroshi, and giving Asami good time and just casual time with the group. I feel like I'm still going to see her as the villain's daughter rather than Korra and Bolin and Marco's friend. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm just seeing her as how she relates to other people rather than her own character. She does have her own character, but it's weaker compared to her relation to other people. Mako's girlfriend, because he's a bigger character than she is at the minute. Hiroshi's daughter, because he's become a bigger character with his connections with the villain and to the plot. And now we're going into episodes 8 to 12, which are going to be, like, I would assume, near final stuff with Amon. I don't know if Asami is going to have enough time to meld with the group before it ends. As for what's next, I don't know what could happen next. I feel like it could go back into more plot heavy stuff, but with this episode being focusing on Asami and a build-up character and a character-focused episode, I feel like they could do that again. I feel like stakes, though, are being raised, and I feel like that was raised after episode 6. But now we also have police people that have been captured, who knows what Amon's going to do with them. I'd assume take their bending away and kind of cripple the police force. But I also feel like it could go into the other direction of just having another quiet episode without the big reveals. That's what I would prefer. I would love it if the next episode is a quiet episode, dealing with the group and just getting on with Asami and just them being together. Don't go into a huge thing. Maybe just deal with maybe a gang of criminals or something, and Asami helps out, and you all fight together. That would allow for Bolin and Mako to merge with Korra's world and what she's doing, because now the probe ending's over, and it would also get Asami casually into the group as well. So she isn't just Mako's girlfriend, Villain's daughter. She is Asami, she is the friend of everyone here. She is just as much as a character as everyone else. Yeah, aside from that, we also had the huge other plot points in this episode. Hiroshi being one of the huge villains. I imagine that's going to have a big effect on Republic City, seeing as he is the leading industry tycoon, creating all the cars of the city. So that's going to be a big I guess, negative for the economy, I would assume. Big things will happen there with him being exposed. What legal implications does it have on the company? Would the police shut it down? Would the whole city revolt against that? Because it's such a big part of the city, having the industry, having cars everywhere. That's going to have a huge fallout. You kind of have to stop him and stop the industry at some point, because they're the ones that are manufacturing Aman's equipment. So you'd have to stop that. That's going to have huge implications on the rest of the city. Then, of course, you had the giant tank things that look like they're made of scuba gear. Those things are incredible and very powerful and are able to deal with master benders. Lin, Tenzin, and Korra were all destroyed by these things. And they have something to do with Aman's larger plan. So we know he wants to... We still don't know what he actually wants to do. He wants equality, but what does that mean? Does he want to cleanse the world of all bending, or does he want to create a society that's just better? Does he want to remove bending from people that don't deserve it, who happen to be evil? Because he still hasn't taken Korra's bending, he hasn't taken Lin's bending, or Tenzin's bending. I feel like he's had a few opportunities to do that. So how does his plan work? What is it, and how does it evolve these giant tanks? I'd assume they're basically for an attack, defensive thing, or whatever. They're meant to incapacitate people or take people out. That's what their purpose is. So he's obviously planning for an attack of some kind where these things will be needed. But what is that plan going to be? What does it look like? I would assume attack on the government. That's the biggest bending thing. All of them are benders, all of them are from different nations. That would be the big staple point for the city. That's where you go after if you really want to make change and do it like this. Take down the people who are making the decisions in society and replace them with ones that were going to align with what you want. And what better way to do that than using these awful tanks to then destroy them all and then implement your own government. Overall, I did really enjoy this episode. I think it was very good just with Asami and building her up as a character, but definitely want another episode focused on her in a more casual setting, less plot heavy, getting with the group. And I feel like next episode could do that. Having them all move to Airbender Island, maybe deal with Korra's airbending, maybe develop that a bit more, but keep it less plot heavy, just so Asami can form herself as a character rather than being related to others. I think this episode was a good blend of both plot and character stuff, because it was dealing with a character that we hadn't got that much on yet, while also doing a huge thing for the villain, and I guess the villainous organization being Equalists, dealing with how they're getting their supplies, revealing Hiroshi being part of it, and now kind of messing with the police force as well, with taking Lin out and also, kind of taking her out, removing her from the official police force and making her become something aside from the law. Yeah, to sum up, I think this episode was good, but I think it can be better with another episode just without plot-heavy stuff and just another casual character development one to get Asami with the group, because this episode dealt with just building Asami up, but she needs to become her own thing and how she relates to the rest of the group, and this episode didn't quite do that. This dealt with just building her up on her own and making her kind of a character, but still the characters that she's surrounded by and relates to are bigger than who she is. But yeah, with that said, that does bring me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments, and with that, I will see you in the next one for episode 8. See ya!